chair, and you're just coming back to the practice. And that is always the instruction, is when you get lost, or when your life gets too speedy, or when you just need to recenter and ground and remember who you truly are, you come back to the practice, whatever practice you have. And since we talked about labyrinths this morning, walking a labyrinth is a practice. It's a step-by-step. You could have intentions as you walk labyrinths, or you could just have the open space of feeling the feet and going and following the path to the center. So with that, in Tracy's book, on this page with the labyrinth picture, he has a nice little quote from Henry David Thoreau. As a single footstep will not make a path on the earth, so a single thought will not make a pathway in the mind. To make a deep physical path, we walk again and again. To make a deep mental path, we must think over and over the kind of thoughts we wish to dominate our lives. Henry David Thoreau. So this journey that we make in yoga is like a labyrinth. It's a path. And what we're working with in the 21st century is that we have all the information of how to change the neural pathways in our brain. But we have to walk the path over and over again and repeat the mantra of what we want to be and what we want to see emerge in our world. We have to get really clear. And there's this time, at this time of the year, it's often hard for me because of the lack of light. And only up here in the Northern Hemisphere and up in the north part of it. But with that, I go through and I go through periodically what's called the dark night of the soul. And perhaps some of you have come across that term in Christian theology. There's also in every tradition, there's a way to look at the darkness and the light. It's a way of looking at the living and dying, like the Tibetan book of living and dying. We're always looking at aliveness and deathness, the light at the end of the tunnel and the tunnel at the end of the light. So grounding into the earth at this moment, at this week of transition in the cosmos, where we come to equal night and equal day, and we're headed to the day of solstice, when it changes. So there's change going on. There's always change going on. So take the feet, and instead of having the knees propped together or the legs spread out, straightened out, come to cerebral spinal fluid balancer. I read a piece last night about the cerebral spinal fluid and balancing and working the vagus nerve through this little action. And that 10th cranial nerve is so important in every function of the body. And it splits in two parts as it comes out of the brain and down, to touch the heart and the lungs and the organs on that side, and then all the way down to the digestive system. Everything is touched. Kidneys, the pancreas, the spleen, all of the parts, the liver, everything is touched by this vagus nerve. So we're recalibrating it with this rocking motion, which is an interesting motion in our world. We're born into this motion as we are, come from no form to form into our mother's womb. And then as they're walking and breathing, we are being kind of prepped for this rocking, which when we come out of the womb, we also want to continue rocking. So that's one of the ways I've come to look at it. And there's much more, so much more about this vagus nerve that we're uncovering. But this is the cerebral spinal fluid balancer. And then pause that. Take a deep breath in. Breathe gratitude through the heart and hold the breath at the top of the breath as though it's going to the very top of the skull. And let that gratitude and figure out, how are you going to do this? Is it images? Is it words? Is it abstract images? Is it beauty? Is it nature? Is it the place? What comes to you when you come to gratitude? And then let that go into every cell of your body. So you're on a shamanic journey right now. Balancing the cerebral spinal fluid, stimulating the vagus nerve. You are the universe. And so every cell of your body has this fascia. And that fascia is the quantum field inside your body. So you are the earth, and every cell is the earth. And the organelles inside your cells are like little organs. Then reach the arms above your head and slow down that rocking again and reach the legs out. And stretch from the heels of the hands to the heels of the feet and hold your breath. Hold and stretch any way you need to, any way you can while you're in this space. If you're on a chair, then just stand up and stretch from heels to the heels of the hands. Hold the breath, hold the breath. Another breath pattern for the body. And then let it all go. And you can hear me sigh all the time. Sighing. Bring the knees in. Now you're going to stimulate the digestive system. This is where your immune system is. So much of your immune system. 80%. Roll the knees in a circle. And we're on a labyrinth. We're on a path. We're on a journey, like walking the labyrinth. We're walking, we're moving, changing directions with that roll. We're moving in a pattern that has a beginning, a middle, and an ending. And we're coming to the center. And when you walk the labyrinth with an intention, then you contemplate that intention to the center. Then pull the knees in and open the knees wide and stretch the inner thighs. You're working this whole physical structure that we call the body. 20% physical, 80% the great mystery, or all the rest of it, ethereal. Just like the digestive system. Isn't that interesting how the nervous system and the digestive system is 80% of your immune system? Lift up your head, look through the legs if you want, release the arms, and know that you are just as vulnerable as those amphibians that are having a very hard time with the changes, and particularly with all the pesticides and herbicides that are used. And so are the humans. Bringing the hands up, shake everything out. This is the dead bug posture. We have to honor the insects. They just, oh my goodness, they find everywhere to live. They adapt quickly. Even they are having a hard time, though. We know about the bees. They're sort of our symbol of where we're at right now in our big change on the planet. Then reach up as far as you can. Lift the head up if you can. Hold for a moment. Don't hold the breath, but notice what happens as you use your abdominals to get up there. And then pull the knees in. Deep breath in and out. Feet flat on the floor. And again, you want supported yoga, then take the block and put it under the pelvis. It feels really good. You can do it for a moment with me. I'm going to go do this for just a moment. And you can roll up a blanket or use a cushion. Anything that lifts the pelvis is going to do this for you. It's a gentle back bend. I'm going to bring my legs up just for a moment. We know this posture, but point and flex and just feel the legs this morning. Straighten them out and take your hands behind the knees or behind the shins and just pull them forward and see what you're feeling. And then point the toes and flex the feet and just notice this first chakra amazing vehicle that gets us through the world on these things we call our legs. But notice that they have a lot of different kinds of tightness in them. Open the legs wide and feel that. Now, you don't have to just have straight legs. You could have bent knees, but see what it happens when you bring your pelvis up. Now, I know some of you have an SI joint that's kind of sensitive, and you want to see if this is good for it. Place the feet back on the floor and feel that block there or cushion, and then knees go slightly side to side, and you're just going to massage that little sacroiliac joint just a little bit. And then you can stay right there peacefully in restorative bridge, or you can take the block out and inhale up and exhale down using the strength of your glutes. So you're strengthening the glutes. It's part of our core strength. We have to strengthen this vehicle, this 20% physical. We have to strengthen it. It carries our spirit, and the spirit, is, it's powerful. So the body, if it's not strong enough, can't even hold the energy that of our possibilities. Inhale up, exhale down. Now, some people have a stronger physical vehicle and have no access to their spiritual self. And that's okay too. Everybody's different. It's just interesting to evaluate. If you're a highly sensitive person like I am, they call us HSPs, 20 to 25% of, 20 to 25% of the population has this kind of sensory perception that's beyond the average 75% or the rest of the population. And exhale down. Now you'll also have to see, how do the arms work here? And then you can slow this down or speed it up. It's up to you. The next time you come up, hold it there. And you can put your arms above your head or down by your sides and strengthen those glutes. At the same time, we're just going through the labyrinth of our own journey here in yoga, coming back to the center, to union, the meaning of the word, yoga, union. Then hold for a moment and breathe and relax and just see how holding is. Then if you can, walk in place, either with the knees bent or one leg up, other leg up. Monday morning of Christmas week. Wednesday will be solstice, and we'll do a solstice ceremony in our practice. And then feet back down, come up onto your toes, and bring the arms down if they're not down. You were just relaxing that trapezius up there. And then reach up and then inhale, exhale yourself down, noticing the vertebra as you come down. Where do they come down together? Where do they come down separately? Knowing that within our bodies, we might have vertebra that do a little kind of weird thing, especially if you have a little scoliosis. Reach up and you're straightening out the body again. You're lengthening from the heels to the heels of the hands to the heels of the feet. Lengthen, take a deep breath in, hold the breath again, feel the stretching as you go side to side, and then release. Back with the feet on the floor. And these, today we're going to do the Pilates 100 again, but we're first going to just gentle, moderate, or vigorous. So the gentle thing would be to just press into the lower back, raise the head up and down, and exhale as you come up. Then you can bring the feet off the floor or your legs straight, and you're just exhale. Now you're going to engage those core abdominals right in the front of the body at the lower and mid core, because there's so many muscles there that are considered part of the core. You can go slower or faster, just inhale, exhale. You cannot bring your head up. You can just, find a way to press into the lower back, then hold for a moment and pull the knees in. So that knee to elbow idea is to cross the brain, where the wires of the brain do cross. Left and right brain are very defined. And you can bring the elbow up, you can tap. Now, if you do this as a fitness practice, it's one thing. If you do it as a mental balancing practice, it's another thing. And you can do both at the same time. It's naturally going to happen because it's energy medicine. So I can bring my feet off the floor. You can decide. You can lengthen out one leg. Exhale on both sides. We're not going to do a long time. We just do a little bit. Just engage. Squeeze at the pelvic floor if you forgot. Don't hold the breath. Hold the other side. Don't hold the breath. And then pull your knees in. Okay, the final piece is you can do another posture if you've had enough. Or try the 100. Lifting the head or having the head on a cushion, arms out to the side, feet down or feet up, or feet in table position, or legs straight. And it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if your head gets a little tired, your neck, then take one hand and put it behind your head. And then hold and lift up and come down. Now, I didn't really count that to its 100, but it's a 5 breaths in, 5 breaths out, and you do it. That's 10. So you do it, 5 times for 50. So you're working on it 5 times for 100. So it's 100 breaths. So let's try again. And you can just do 10. You can do 20. You can do 30. You don't even have to count it. And I won't count it because then you'll think you have to do as many as I count. And you want to get a rhythm for yourself. It could be, so you could start with 3. So it's lift the head. It's training your breath to do this kind of breathing. And then pause and down. Lengthen the body out. Stretch from the heels of the hands. Deep breath in. Let it out with a big sigh. Remember, sighing is really good for us. Making sounds. That's the sound. Opens the heart and makes biochemistry to calm us down. Then rock yourself up. And here we are, up. Knees side to side. So you can always, if this doesn't work for you, which, I really don't know even now because I've never been in person with you, what can you do? Can you sit like this? What I do know is that there's lots of ways to modify sitting. And one is to have different size cushions. I have this long, skinny one, And this one's a little higher up. It's these are all cotton. And so for some people, again, sitting on a cushion and then turning the knees to the side works better. We're going to do this. I just like this one. I don't know. It just feels like you can really work this stretch. Now it's spinal twist. You know a lot of spinal twists. You can lie down on the floor and do the knees to one side, head to the other. You can sit in a chair. You can stand. You can be in just about any position on the floor. But we're doing this and around and look over that right shoulder. A single footstep will not make a path on the earth. So a single thought will not make a pathway in the mind. To make a deep physical path, we walk again and again. To make a deep mental path, we must think over and over the kind of thoughts we wish to dominate our lives. Henry David Thoreau. He's definitely one of my spiritual mentors, him and Emerson in my life. And then back around, switch to the other side, and a little bit of active isolated stretching. Feels good. See if you have any little clicks in your spine. When we do a spinal twist, it's kind of like getting a chiropractic adjustment, because you're really working that spine as you bring it around and you have your head turn around and look over that left shoulder. Keep the eyes open. We've been working on all of this to relax at the same time and feel the breath. Now, feel the breath in this position. You can feel it stretch you in a different way. Keeping ourselves working with this. And also, as we get older and we start to kind of lose the waistline, this actually helps to keep that waistline and keep the muscles able to twist far enough so we don't get stiff in the spine. We want to keep the spine so fluid. That's one of the most important things to do for our whole life. The spine is the key. Again, you can live without arms and legs, but you can't live without the spine. And then back to center. Onto the hands and knees. Now putting the spine into a little bit more movement. So up and down. I always feel this kind of relief when working with the spine in the opposite direction, lying on the floor, and then coming and having the spine have this kind of freedom in table position. Inhale one direction and you feel the stretch, and exhale the other and feel the stretch, dropping the chin to your chest in the hissing cat, and then welcoming the understanding of our cats in the world, and finding our way. The other thing that's come in front of me is this. As you hold one direction, you should never feel concern about the path you're to follow. The path unfolds beneath your feet as you go. Seeming missteps, detours, or blind alleys are all not a verdict against you. The path you follow is not a linear path that leads through the landmarks along the way. There are no milestones and there's no finish lines. Your path is circular, and it's not one lifetime long. So another statement about a path. It's interesting that the labyrinth came up, that Henry David Thoreau wrote a little piece about the path physically and the path mentally, as you came into that other position. Then down and around and up, inhale, exhale as you go. As you put this in motion, where you're getting that spine to move up and down through this motion, Now, if this is hard on your knees, be sure you are protecting the knees or your hands. You could be standing and you could be doing this in a different way. Change directions with the roll. The point of a path is actually to ground yourself into the earth, to be firm on the ground beneath you that supports the feet from one moment to the next. Then hold for a moment. Tuck the toes. Bring yourself up. Stretch the legs. One heel back, the other. A partial inversion that also stimulates the thymus and thyroid and works a lot to balance the systems of the body. Feel what's going on with the backs of the legs. Walk yourself forward. See where you're going to land here. We've been practicing all sorts of things. You can go to the elbows, supported squat. You can go to supported squat with the hands a little higher up. You can do ragdoll, shake out the head and the arms and shoulders, bend the knees. And you can do standing forward bend. Again, blocks sometimes help. Standing forward bend. Just deciding what works for your body. Then bend the knees, and to not get dizzy, we bring our arms open wide and up and back into our heart. And then we're up. Here we are. Heel toe. Heel toe. Whew. We're going to do a little warm up, standing warm up. We're going to spread your knees and come into, warrior goddess type position. But you're going to shake the arms out. We're going to do empty coat sleeves. And it goes like this. It's a ha, 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 ha. So you're twisting, ha, and using the ha breath, ha, ha, ha. And you can slow it down or speed it up. Ha. Go at your own pace. Ha, 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 and come back to center and come back to center. Inhale the arms up, exhale down, bend the knees. So to the side here, it's this is Utkatasana, and you can play with hands at the heart, hands at the waist. Where your arm's going to go. The arms can go anywhere. Hands above your head. Okay, so you're feeling the quads here. This is a quad strengthener. You can even go and put your back on a wall and sit there, and that's the same thing. It's not different. It's just that, and it gets your quads extreme, to stay here like this. So you're really playing with, what path do I take? What is my journey? Then bring the hands down, straighten the legs out, give them a little shake so that we can come down, and then turn to left elbow towards the right, and it's a spinal twist. Come down on the knee if it works for you. The elbow goes to the knee. Come down on the floor if it works for you. Turn your head and look up if it works for you. That doesn't quite work for me. I look straight ahead. But I like this one. I like the center, the middle ground. Then bend back up and up, and down and around to the other side. Remember, you don't have to go all the way down. You can stand up and just twist or put the elbow down. You can even, if you arrange it, you can have a block there down on the floor. And then back up. Shake it out. See how your body's reacting. Stand for a moment. I am a mountain. Breathing in, I am a mountain. Imagine a mountain that you know, that you love. Imagine how you might have explored that mountain. And if it's not a mountain, if you've never been to one, then how about a hill? Think of the hill or a mountain or something that got you up high, off the earth a little bit, off the rest of the earth, up into the higher levels, thousands of feet sometimes. Inhale down and up, and you have your arms come up into mountain. So mountain position for the arms is, hands open, arms open wide, or lace the fingers and lacing that you can hardly see on the screen, but the pointer fingers are up and the thumbs are crossed, and you're lacing the rest of the fingers. And this is called the temple position. And this is a position of, I am, my body is the temple for my spirit. I'm a mountain. Your feet, knees are either together, feet are together, or feet about a fist apart, and you're bending your knees. You can get there and find your stability. Now, if this doesn't work for your arms, they come down to your heart. If that doesn't work for your arms, then they come down to your waist. So you are really working this for what your body needs to do. And then you're breathing, and then bring the arms down, roll the shoulders, backwards and forwards. And then think of that mountain and go to a tree. Go to a tree, a rooted tree. One way to think about your feet being into the earth is imagining yourself as a tree and imagining the roots. So come onto the left foot, take the right foot and either put it on the floor, turn the knee out to the right side, and you can just stabilize yourself there. And this is a beautiful posture called Vrikasana, the tree. And the teachings of the trees, we've gone through this before, like sway with the breeze. Now, if you want to come up and balance yourself, you can either hold on to something or not. Going to a wall is or a table or something like that, easy. You can even put your hand up. You can put one arm up and one hand or one finger on a wall, or you can find your way to balance right there with whatever you have, in the balancing posture by focusing on something not moving, breathing, staring. And the wall's there to catch you if you need to. Down on that side, shake out the leg, the standing leg. Come onto the other side. Again, toe on the floor, toe above the ankle. And if you really have it and you have the flexibility, you can go toe above the knee. You don't want the toe on the knee or any part of the foot on the knee. So you have to be able to bring it pretty much into almost your groin area. So you want to, practice what's right for you. So toe on the floor might be right for any one day. And you're putting a lot of the standing leg is still the one holding you up. You don't have to go way out there. And then toe above the ankle. That's about where I go now. I used to go all the way up to my inner thigh. Then arms above your head, if you have it within you. And you might feel the foot really working hard. Grow roots down into the earth. Grow where you're planted is one of the gifts of the trees. And then release that and shake that out. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to the heart. When in doubt, this is a great center. Something that grounds you and centers. What is the path? Our path now is partly we watch time, this created time that we have, and we say, oh, there's only 10 minutes left. So we're going to come back down to the earth consciously. So dropping the chin to the chest, roll down the spine, bend the knees as you do, Shoulders and head loose. You're in ragdoll, hands to the floor, step back into downward dog. And again, revisit it. Down to your knees and then fold back into child if it works for you. Now, remember, I've been showing you also that you widen your legs out, and sometimes that is so much easier. For a knee injury or flexibility or even the SI joint, you'll have to see what works for you. And if that doesn't work at all, remember we've been doing the puppy stretch. The puppy stretch is sort of it really puts a nice curve in the lower back. So there's, child, and then there's puppy. You walk forward on your elbows. There's wide knees, or there's knees together. So child, knees together, child wide. Puppy stretch can be either one, too. And you'll see, I really like the puppy stretch because it actually gives you a little bit extra stretch right in that connection between the pelvis and so lumbar spine and the thoracic spine. Now, the full puppy is to spread your arms out above your head and put your chin on the floor. I can't really do that, but I can do my forehead. So you can practice that too. And any one of these you can Google individually to find it online on YouTube or somewhere else. Then lengthen your body out into just right from there. It's a dance, it's a journey. It goes from one to the other, and you can make it all different ways. You can design the labyrinth of yoga. So here, you're here, and this is the Sphinx. Then down here and back to cerebral spinal fluid balancing. And we're coming full circle to go with our circle, and then turning yourself over after a little bit of that jiggling and deciding what's your closing. And I'm gonna close with reclined goddess. You can use your soles of the feet together and knees spread apart. You can use equipment or not. You can put the blocks in, I've got the cushion I pull in. And if you ever want to know where to get those long cushions, I can give you that information. And then if you have a strap or something to put over your eyes, it's always nice in last moments to give yourself this moment of integration. Now you can also go right into Shavasana. That's more common in the journey or the labyrinth of yoga. So in most of the the people, the organizations, my teachers along the way, all the word is always that nothing is really truly random. Like it is this path, and on the path you meet various things that could be called obstacles, but they could be called miracles as well. Something that is there in front of you that's supposed to teach you something or guide you in a certain way. And you have to have a lot of clarity mentally of an intention or what it is that you're seeking, or I don't know how many ways to sort of say that. And so right now, while we're ending this journey, we have gone to the center, and now we've come back out full circle. Full circle kind of comes from the floor up to standing, back down, cerebral spinal fluid balancers on both ends. And In the very center, we got rooted into our feet with the tree and with mountain. Rooted into the earth. I am a mountain and I feel strong and steady. Breathing in, breathing out. And we started our session with the pebble meditation. And I inhale and I am a flower. Exhale, I feel fresh. Inhale, I'm a mountain. Exhale, I feel strong, stable, confident. Inhale, I'm still water. Exhale, I reflect things as they are, and I'm calm. Inhale, I'm space. Exhale, I feel free. Bring your fingertips together and your thumbs to your heart. And remember that the light, we didn't really mention that word or use that word today. All last week, our classes were on light. I am light. I am a vibration. I am all the colors of the rainbow coming together. The path is one of understanding, the structures that are put in place for us to understand light. On the yoga path, it's a structure that includes the eightfold path that I'll be mentioning on Wednesday, and then the chakra system, which we've been working with the new 12 chakras. But the first 7 are right in the center of the electromagnetic spectrum. They are the light. And as we go to the 12, it's because there's a mixture of the coloring, of the colors of the rainbow. And we see many more colors than we defined with red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue, and violet. Then bring the thumbs to the third eye and remember that you're a multidimensional being. And you have hundreds of sensory perceptions, not just 5. That was the limiting belief of the 20th century and before. And then we emerged into extrasensory perception with this big question mark. Still in the 20th century. In the 21st century, we are open. 12 chakras, 5-dimensional relationship to the earth. We're vibrating at a different level. Imagination, inspiration, intuition, and integration contain a multitude of other sensory perceptions. Then bring the hands back to the heart. Namaste. I want to honor myself for taking time out to do this practice. Always come back to the practice. Practice today is partly on the path, the journey, the labyrinth. So find a labyrinth near you. Then let the arms come open as we have a blessing from our heart. Imagine all of our hearts connected, sending out the message and energy along with all the other people doing yoga at this moment on the planet. May we have peace, and may what we do here go out onto the world and make more peace as we honor all beings. Namaste. Then lengthen the legs